So let's look at how to loop the end of a song. In arrangement view, looping a song, it takes a couple of more steps in order to pull this off versus session view, in my opinion. But once it's set up, it's done. It's done for every set from the computer being turned on and Ableton being set up. And once you make this, let's try it again. So let's take a look at how to loop the end of a song. In arrangement view, it takes a couple of steps to pull this off, but once it's set up for all the sets that you create. You don't have to do this every single time you have a weekend set or an event set or an access set. It's done. So let's look at how to loop the end of a song. So say you're doing Raise a Hallelujah, and you get to the end of the track. So let's just play towards the end of the track here. Actually, let's switch. Let's go to Stronger. Let's go to the end of Stronger. Let's look at the end. There's a chorus, an outro, and an ending. So let's go right before the outro.
Outro. Ending.
Okay, the track's starting to fade out there, but your worship leader is wanting to flow a little bit. Your track is ended. You'll see what it's doing right here is it's looping on itself at the end of song 3. Now that's important because if it wasn't looping, Ableton would just continue to play. This is set up in a timeline manner. Now it might keep going. It might run into another song. Say there was a song 4 after this, or it might run into another click. This loop function is really important. Now this all takes place in this track, this loop track. There's a pink clip right here. So we've got this track and there's a pink clip that is set up to trigger the previous marker. So when Ableton plays this MIDI note, this is just a MIDI note right here that I have assigned to go back to the previous marker. If you click, I believe it's not key, it's MIDI. Let's see. Yes, it's set right here. There it is. I had to find it. It was here somewhere. It's set to go previous. Now there's a forward marker. You can barely see it. It's very tiny. Let me open this up so you can see it. If ever in Ableton you're not sure what things are, you can open this little far left window. You see this little arrows. You see these arrows all over Ableton. There's arrows here. There's an arrow here. If you open this up and you go back up here to the top right and you highlight, what it'll tell you in this left-hand corner, sorry, I'm going to keep my mouse on this right-hand corner, but look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see previous locator. Jump to the previous locator or to the song start using this button. So I have this note mapped to this using this MIDI function. Now, if I did not have this marker here, watch what happened. I'm going to delete this marker. So I'm at the end of the song. It's going to fire. It's actually started the song over again because that's literally the previous marker that's there. If you look in the top, there is no other marker in the song Stronger. There's nothing. So it's important that we have a marker. Let's insert a locator here. It's important that we have this loop song 3, whatever you want. You can call it whatever you want. I think I labeled the other ones just loop song 2. Yeah, loop song 3. As long as you have this little locator, this little marker here, it will fire back to the beginning of that and loop over and over and over again. Now we're able to pull this off because Ableton and Apple have a functionality inside the Apple computer called the IAC driver. Now I will show you that in just a second. If you go to your Finder and let's go to Applications. Let's see, where are you at? You are going to be in Utilities. and you can go click Audio MIDI Setup. Now, a faster way to find that is if you're familiar with Apple, if you click Command Spacebar, it gives you a search, spotlight search. You can type in Audio MIDI Setup. That's what I do, and enter. You'll get this window. But really what you want to see is you want your MIDI Studio. So let's click MIDI Studio. Cool. And you want to double click IAC driver. And you want to have a MIDI loop. Now we actually have two here because I've done this a couple of different times. You want to turn on a device. You want to make a device. So you could do this by adding a plus sign, and it added IAC bus 4. Okay. You want to make sure the device is online. I can rename this to be whatever. If I double click it, I can just put demo. Let's make it demo. Device is online. Click apply. Okay. If I go back into Ableton, I actually need to go up to live preferences. Okay. I need to go to this MIDI tab right here. So all kinds of things on, ignore all of this. But what you'll see is this IAC driver, this demo, the input that I typed in is on. The track is on. Right now I'm going to turn it off. So I'm in inputs, there's inputs. Now I'm going to go to output. There's all these outputs, IAC driver. Okay, all those are off. So for this sake, you'll see that this demo, what I'm actually using is currently this MIDI loop, capital M-I-D-I. This is the one I had already set up. And you'll see, let's find that here. Let's go back up to inputs. Capital MIDI loop. It's this one. Ignore this one. Let's go to this one. You'll see the remote is on. That's important. The remote is on. But in your outputs, make sure your track, you'll see here, this column, the track is on. Okay. If both of those are on, you have output track on and input remote on. And this MIDI clip is right here. Every clip will loop back on itself. That's also important for when you're doing just metronomes. Say you've a flow metronome or a groove metronome that we looked at. Same thing is important here. You got to have this little locator for this loop, this little clip to loop back on for the flow. If this was off for any reason and you let it play, what's going to happen is it's just going to continue and you're going to end up going on to another click or another song or something that you did not mean to do. So now we're messed up. So you want to make sure that your loop is on, and this is not grayed out. You want to make sure that this is solid, a solid color, solid white, dark solid color here. If it's grayed out for any reason, it doesn't let you choose it, that means something is turned off in your preferences. So just make sure to check that. Make sure the loop is functioning properly.